Hello, Vicky's class. Today I'm going to introduce our June assignment. But before I do that, I just want to encourage you guys. I really think you guys are doing a good job. I want to encourage you to see some people are really doing a great job of not being afraid to try. So our goal is to work on using intermediate level vocabulary and grammar more. So there's always a temptation to just stay safe and use your basic level elementary stuff that you know is right. We really need to push to try new things, new grammar and idioms and sayings. So great job to all of those of you who are doing that. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, especially in this assignments that I'm giving you. This is the time to make some mistakes, to learn, to try to use new grammar, okay? So don't be afraid to do that and just keep it up. And so let's talk about the June assignment. So I'd like to do a little review of some of the points I've talked about in past assignments. So the first one, as I've said many times, is it's always useful to write an outline. So for this assignment, I'll put it up on the screen so you can see it. This assignment doesn't give you any pictures. That means it doesn't give you structure. When they give the assignments that had 4 pictures, it's very simple. You can divide your writing into 4 parts. Now you still want to divide it into parts, and that's why writing an outline is great for this kind when you don't have a division. So if you look at the assignment, we have, as is usual, usually there's paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. So when you write your outline, we can make that division. Paragraph 1, this is what I'm going to write, and paragraph 2, this is what I'm going to write. So I also, another point I'll remind you of is to need to answer the question. So as you write an outline, that's what you're thinking about. Okay, what are they asking me to do? What's the question exactly? And I gotta make sure that I'm going to hit that main point. So that's there. That's really important, okay? So write a short outline, that's my first review point. The other one is, talked about using keywords and follow-up sentences. So when you're writing, you want to make very good paragraphs. So you're gonna have a topic sentence, and you're gonna use keywords and follow-up sentences from your own writing to create a really good paragraph, okay? So make sure you're doing that. So that's my 2 review points. We're gonna go into, I'll write a paragraph. For this video, I want to give you some useful vocabulary related to the topic to see if you can, so you can practice, because I think using intermediate level vocabulary and grammar is something that I've seen that is a big challenge. So let's work on that, okay? So let's try an example paragraph together. Okay, so let's look at my first paragraph, okay, and showing you my outline at the same time. So I'm looking at my first paragraph, and you need to take note that the 2 paragraphs are kind of similar, right? So you need to be careful here because you can kind of mix them together. So the first one is talking about, I'm going to talk about my personal experience, and the second paragraph is my thoughts. So it's not that different. So let's see what I do here. So as a foreigner living in Taiwan, I've had a chance to observe many cultural differences between Canada and Taiwan. Okay, so there's my topic sentence. Yeah, and that topic sentence, just to review again from the first assignment, the topic sentence will be giving me sort of showing what I'm going to talk about, and I want to follow up based on my topic sentence, okay? So I'm going to be talking about, and I've also created keywords: Canada, Taiwan, cultural differences. All of these things are keywords I can use to create new sentences, okay? One of those things, so I'm talking about cultural differences, I'm using that keyword. One of those things, cultural differences, is in regard to lining up. So in regard to, there's a useful grammar you can use to say concerning or about that thing. You can say in regard to lining up. Okay, so there's a useful grammar, an intermediate level grammar. Okay, I often see long lines of people waiting to order in front of a newly opened shop. Okay, so I want to bring your attention to another point here, and that would be that you need to learn to use different forms of words. It's a very important part of English. In Chinese, often you have a word that basically can be a noun or a verb. But in English, we often have little suffix changes to them. So example would be this one, a newly opened shop. Well, you probably know the word new as an adjective, but you don't often perhaps use it as an adverb, newly. Okay, so by doing that, we can add a lot of depth, and you can bring up your writing level. Okay, so continuing, a Canadian seeing this long line would simply decide to wait a week and come back when we don't have to wait. Okay, Taiwanese don't seem to be bothered by long lineups and lengthy waits. Okay, so that's paragraph number 1. Okay, so let's continue. Let's go on to paragraph 2. So remember, they want us to talk about our own thoughts or ideas. So it's actually pretty easy. I think it's kind of a freebie. It's easy to do because it's always easy to talk about your own thoughts, your own opinions, things from your own life. It's easier to do. It's not that difficult in my opinion. So I think it's always something to fall back on. But that's the question, is to answer our own, give our own thoughts. Okay, so I said, I think my topic sentence is, I think perhaps I'm not a food lover. Okay, so I'm not so much into food. It's not so important to me. I eat to live, I don't live to eat. So that would mean that I eat because I want to live, not die, and I don't live to eat. So that's the first grammar or a point we can highlight. Live to do something. Okay, to live to do something is it's the reason that you live. It's very important, or something you really like or value. You can also use this with a noun. You live for something. Okay, so someone let's look at some examples of this. Someone who really loves, let's say, surfing. You can say, I live to surf. And surfing is something I really enjoy, and that's why I live. I love it so much. Or you could say, I live for chocolate cake. You know, it's so you love it so much that you would you would happily stand in a long line to get your favorite thing, to get some chocolate cake. So you can live to do something, or you can live for something. So I said, I don't live to eat. Okay? So when I see a long line of people waiting, I can't really understand why they do it. Okay? Maybe it's because I don't really have a sweet tooth. Okay? So in English, having a sweet tooth just means you like sweet things. So usually that means cake and cookies and drinks. You know, often are sweet in Taiwan. So that's what a sweet tooth is. So I'm not really into drinks, which are usually sweet. And there's another point right there. I'm not really into something. To be into something means that's something you really like or enjoy. Be into it. So you could use that for a lot of things. Someone says, hey, let's go see this new movie. Let's go see, and you say, I'm not really into that kind of movie, right? It's not something I enjoy, okay? You can also say, I'm not a big fan of fried food and Taiwanese snacks either, okay? So not a big fan is another way to say that's not something you really like that much. So to be a fan of something, we've often used that word with sports teams. You can be a fan of a certain team. So maybe you will wear their shirt and you'll go to their games and you will cheer them on. You would say, I'm a fan. So let's say you were a fan of the LA Lakers. You'd be a Lakers fan and you would watch their games, you would wear their shirts, and you would cheer for them. Okay. So to say I'm not a big fan means it's not too important to you. Okay. So my last sentence, perhaps if I was in my own country, it would be different. So I just concluded my paragraph, okay? So that would be paragraph number 2. Okay, so that would be the assignment. And I'd just like to say, make your focus to try to use intermediate level vocabulary and grammar, okay? So I introduced some of them, and so don't be afraid to try. Don't be afraid to look for something that's a little more difficult and make use of it. This is this assignment is a chance to practice those things. If you do it on the real test and you get red on your paper, well, that's not good. But if you get red on your paper, if I'm marking a lot, that's good. You're learning something, so don't be afraid to. And make it your focus to try to use intermediate level grammar and vocabulary for this assignment, okay? So good luck.